Discover College Soccer podcast is sponsored by VIO. VIO is the #1 AI camera solution helping players capture college recruitment videos. Check out their new starter and family options by clicking on the link in the description or visit Discover College Soccer to learn more. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach TJ Kostecky. Welcome, Coach.
Matt, great to see you again. Long
Great.
time no see, my friend.
I know. So people are like, wait a minute, Matt, you already talked to this guy. What are we doing? So yes, TJ is the coach at Bard College, and we talked about a year ago, actually, and you should all go back and listen to that episode and learn more about the Bard program. But today, uh, we're talking to Coach because he's got a new book out. You can kind of see the cover off that left shoulder of his, or right shoulder, depending on which side you're on. But
Yeah,
but I've got one here too, and appreciate it. And I love a good book, and many of you don't know my day job is in the book industry in a certain degree. So excited to have a print book here next to me that the coach was nice enough to send me. But I really am excited to talk about the book. I'm 95% of the way through it at this point, but um, you know there's some amazing stories you got in there, Coach, and I don't want to give any of them away because people should read the book. But let's just start with how did you get to the point of writing the book and where you kind of fell in love with the whole idea of vision and soccer and how they intertwine.
sure. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Thank you for reading the book and enjoying it. I appreciate you. Uh, the idea of the book, Vision Training Soccer is something I've been doing for, gosh, 4 decades with Len Billis, my dear friend and partner. And the book came out of one of my assistant coaches when I was at LIU Brooklyn. Said, "You got to meet this guy, Dan. He's a really cool guy. He's a soccer dad. He still plays." So we had breakfast, and after breakfast, Dan said, "Hey, have you ever thought about writing a book on your vision soccer and your leadership?" So, because I have vision soccer and leadership, vision training for life, and I said, I don't have a lot of experience writing. He goes, "Well, I've written a half dozen books. I've been a ghost writer, and send me your content." So I sent him some content, and he put together a 2-page draft, Matt, and it was amazing. I'm like, "You are a talented writer." It started. That's how the whole project started. And the way he starts it is he sends it to me. He goes, "It's a 2015 World Cup U.S. Japan women's final. Carly Lloyd is slaloming in midfield, and she looks up from midfield and spots a Japanese keeper off her line and drives the ball over 50 yards overhead into the side netting for her third goal. Meanwhile, TJ Kostecky's in his apartment in Brooklyn, New York, 3,000 miles away with a smile on his face because he had a small part in that goal." I was like, "Wow, you got me hooked. You are a gifted writer." So that's how the whole thing started, actually, from my friend Dan, now my friend Dan, inviting me to write this book with him.
It's tremendous. Well, like I said, there's an amazing number of awesome stories in there, but there's also some good practical stuff for folks. And all us coaches, we love our I don't want to call them mnemonics, but putting numbers onto, you get the 4 phases of the game, pressure, cover,
Mhm.
balance, all the things that we teach. And you've kind of chopped up a couple of those here in the book with your 5 P's and your 3 L's. So talk to us a little bit about what those are and what that means.
Sure. So the 5 P's are perceive, process, plan, perform, and persist. The most important is the first one, perception, and the second most important is persistence. The more perceptive you are, and that's me with the thumbs up. Sorry about that. Sometimes I hit that by my energy actually does that because I'm not touching anything. I don't know how that happens, by the way, which we'll get into energy and synchronicity in a moment. But the more perceptive you are, so your first P, wide, bright, and deep. So think about that as a player, a number 6 holding mid, or a number 8, right? But everyone on the pitch, the deeper, the wider, the brighter your ability to look, you're able to process a lot of information, right? Which is abstract, plan, perform, and persistence, the habit loop. When you're persistent about something, you don't have to think about it. It becomes automatic. When you're persistent about being perceptive, you're gathering real-time information on the pitch, which is the most valuable information. And when you do that, you're able to make informed decisions with the ball. Do I combine with another player? Do I spin away? Do I play backwards so that we can break lines? Do I look forward and take that first touch to the side and play a winger? That all comes out of gathering massive amount of information, real-time information by scanning. So that's the 5 Ps, how it relates to the game.
Okay. You also had the three L's. What's that all about?
Yes. 3 L's is look, listen, and learn. So a crucial part of growing on the pitch, on the field, and in life is paying attention and listening and being a great listener. I do workshops on leaderships, which we'll talk about in a moment. But regardless of where we are in life, and that's a conversation you and I are having, because you and I have spoken a few times already, but look, listen, and learn, we're being open and gathering another way of gathering information aside from visually looking. And by that, I mean being there for people and not just listening and saying, "Hey, Matt, let me tell you my story." Because when that happens, it's not really I'm not listening to you, Matt. I'm waiting for you to finish, perhaps, to share my story. So look, listen, learn is really pay attention to the person who's sharing their story with you, who's giving you information, whether it's a coach, a player, regardless of what it is, even if it's critical information that's going to help you, make sure you're paying attention and not being defensive when they give you that information to help you.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, you mentioned the word synchronicity, which you have in the book, which and this is one of those crazy things because I was sitting there and going through that chapter actually, and there's a story in there in the book. You mentioned a specific college soccer coach that you're talking about, and I read that chapter and went, get out of town because the next day that coach emailed me to schedule to get on a podcast. And so his episode will be coming out soon. But it's like just one of those wild happenstances. So tell me what is synchronicity and give me some examples there.
So synchronicity is a Carl Jung phrase. Carl Jung and Pauli, the famous physicists, he had an event experience that happened to him when he was taking a train ride home. This is Carl Jung, where he had a real negative experience that someone was drowning, and when he got home, he discovered that his nephew almost drowned but survived, and he committed the last 20 years of his life to trying to understand how these coincidences occur. And my life has been filled with coincidences. I have, in fact, a 28-page journal of all these episodes that I haven't written in 4 years, Matt, because they happen so frequently. And how do you? I've read several books on synchronicity, and in Eyes Up, I reference one gentleman who's the premier expert on synchronicity in America. But basically, synchronicity is by keeping your eyes open. For those 5 Ps we talked about, if you walk around in life with blinders on and you're just going forward and not looking around and pausing, you miss opportunities that are in front of you every day for you to get better and for you to grow and for you to connect with the right person and for the right person to connect with you. So the more we're doing this and pausing and being present, all of a sudden in our life, we draw the right people in our life and we become attractive for the right people. So that's how one of the ways of drawing synchronicity. And again, I share about that in a deeper way in Eyes Up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was some really great examples there. Well, there's a lot of stuff, different things in the book, some soccer related, some just life related.
Mhm.
So kind of talked about who best is what audience is best for this book, and in terms of if you're a soccer player, what are you going to get out of it? If you're not a soccer player, what are you going to get out of it?
Great question. So as a soccer player, a soccer coach, you'll get a lot out of it. And even if you're not, you'll get a lot of it. On the soccer side specifically, the vision piece is a critical missing piece in our game, in our country. Vision training soccer is something, as I mentioned earlier, I've been doing for over 40 years. I travel around the country, around the world. I actually certify coaches in my own methodology. We license coaches level 1, level 2, and we actually have an online course now that coaches globally or domestically and players can go and take the course and learn how to apply these ideas. So the vision training soccer part that you read about in the book are simple ideas, suggestions, training sessions that I've done around the world. I talk about being in Ukraine, doing a session in Ukraine. I talk about Finland. I talk about Carly Lloyd. I talk about Glenn Crooks, the Carly Lloyd's coach, how he didn't believe in vision and then how he was transformed. So it's definitely for a soccer group, a soccer audience. Some specific suggestions, how to help players, and we'll talk about that I think at the end a little bit. But it's definitely for a soccer audience. It's for coaches. I do a deep dive, and for parents and for business owners, into 7 qualities of being transformative. One, I start with integrity. I end with confidence and belief. I talk about gratitude and selflessness. How can I serve you, be more transformative and less transactional? What are you going to do for me? I talk about innovation, being innovative, thinking outside the box. No, creating your own box. About the being mindful of modeling, that every time we see someone, we're impacting them. Like right now, the two of us looking, we're impacting each other. Anybody that's watching us right now is being impacted by the information we're giving. How to harness that power to help you become the best version of yourself, and how to help everyone that you meet every single day to model that behavior to help them. So that's the broader way of using Eyes Up to help you as a parent, as a coach, as a business leader, as a sibling, as a friend.
Oh, great. Well, and yeah, to get just even more laser focused, right? With this is I couldn't go without asking this, since this is the Discover College Soccer podcast, but more specifically, if someone's listening to this, they're a high school age student looking to play in college, looking to take the next step, how might this book help them? What are they going to get out of this specifically to help them along their journey?
Great. So aside from what I just mentioned about the qualities, also about selflessness, how to help others. So as you're going on to the college program, you want to be someone that's serving and helping your teammates get better and helping your team get better. So in the book, we talk about simple ways to serve others to help the whole group, right? But on the pitch, here's 2 really simple things that if you add this to your game, just adding this, your game can get 10 to 20% better permanently. How do I know this? I've done this around the country, and players have responded back to me afterwards and said, "Coach, I'm 30% better because I've already made this a habit." So here's 2 simple ones. One is that if you do by taking up to 5 looks every 10 seconds when you're on the pitch, regardless of your position. So not just a center midfielder, a 6 or an 8 or a 10 that's coming back, but everywhere. If you take up to 5 looks, even as a keeper, scanning a little bit, build the habit of expanding your vision and gathering early real-time information. So your goal as a player, up to 5 looks. Why? The Premier League, the best in the world, analysis of vision. The best players look 5+ times every 10 seconds. De Bruyne, more than 5 times. The very, very best look 5. So you want to model what the best in the world are doing. That's one thing. The second thing is, almost every player does wall ball, right? They work on technique, right? Hit the ball against the wall, inside the right foot, inside the left foot, first touch, second touch. We've all done that. I've done that as a kid. My daughters both played. My youngest played in college. My oldest was a track runner. So you're doing wall ball and you're hitting the ball against the wall. One simple change will improve your vision. When the ball comes off the wall, start taking a peek. Start looking over your shoulder. So as soon as the ball is coming off the wall, start building the habit of scanning. Why? If you're just looking at the wall, you're developing tunnel vision. Our myelin sheath is the habit forming sheath. That's the 5th P about persistence, being persistent, right? The reason I could pick up this pen without looking is because I've done it a million times. If I was a child, I would have to do this, right? If you're hitting the ball against the wall and you're doing this, you're creating tunnel vision, and your vision on the pitch, whoop, will be horrible. People say you have no vision or limited vision. As soon as the ball comes off the wall, start doing this. When you're knocking the ball with a partner in training, don't look at the ball. Look over the shoulder. And what's going to happen? Your game will get 10 to 20% better because you're collecting real-time information and not waiting for people to tell you man on or turn, which is the 3rd slowest way that we process information. Those 2 things, you add that, your game will just explode.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Well, Coach, really appreciate it. Congratulations on the book. Looking forward to finishing those last few pages myself, and we'll put a link in the show notes for folks to go ahead and get their copy, and of course go back and watch the episode that we did last year on your school. Wish you the best of luck this fall, Coach, and hopefully we'll see you down here in Bradenton sometime soon.
Thanks so much. Just 2 more things before we go.
Yeah, of
One
course.
is Eyes Up. You could order it right now on Amazon. You could also order the audiobook. The audiobook's in my voice. If that's how you consume information, do that. And the last thing, Good Housekeeping just announced their top books, self-help books of 224. Eyes Up was number 5 in 224, the top self-help books. So
Well, that's
please,
amazing. Well, congrats, coach. Well deserved. All right.
appreciate you.
All
Thank
right.
you for
Thank you. Take care. Hi, everybody. It's Matt from Discover College Soccer. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to let you know about the Discover College Soccer Study Table. This is our brand new online portal that is complete with a 14-part online course giving you all of the ins and outs of the college soccer recruiting process. There's also a wealth of resources such as checklists, templates. There's the spreadsheets that have every soccer program in the country along with their coaches, their contact information, their social media information, some basic stats about the school, and more. Plus, there's an online community where you can ask your questions, share your wins, your losses, any questions that you may have around the college soccer recruiting process. It's all there at the Discover College Soccer study table that you can find at discovercollegesoccer.com/study table, and hopefully we will see you there.